Well, thank you, Marty, and thank for all of you attending today for the opportunity to present the Aclipse investment story. We're working at the intersection of nerves and muscles. We have two disease-modifying clinical assets and a business model that we think is well suited for family offices. In a nod to the Art Basel theme, I found this beautiful image of neurons. Neurons basically regulate muscles, movement, other systems of the body, including the immune system. Neurodegenerative disease, neuromuscular disease are now viewed by the NIH as one of the top healthcare challenges of our generation, potentially affecting over 120 million people. But there are very good reasons to be optimistic and excited about the future in these diseases. There's a blizzard of new technologies, and we're in what they call the golden age of neuroscience, comparable to the war on cancer. We're well into it. The NIH is doubling and tripling down. The FDA is beginning to follow science. I don't mean that pejoratively. I'm congratulating them. They are following the science, and the industry is tripling and doubling down. We're in sprint mode now. Maybe this will advance it. All right, gentlemen, how do I advance? My clicker is not working.
Just hit your arrow keys. Right over.
Right.
Arrow on your keyboard.
Oh, none of these arrows are working. Well,
We're gonna make this happen.
Did you,
okay.
Well, I think you just need to hit enter. Or
arrow key up there?
arrow key,
Why is it not advancing?
page down. 1 second. Are you in it?
Should I move this up?
There you go.
There we go.
Up and down. There you go.
Up and down?
Yeah.
Good. Again, in a nod to the season, I wanted to share this picture with you. These are actually neurons being born, being expressed in the cortex. And beyond the picture, what's important is that we now can interrogate the brain at the cellular level. This was never possible, and this is now routine and allowing really tremendous advancements in the field. So, for example, just a few years ago, the first FDA-approved blood-based test to diagnose Alzheimer's disease. They've been working in the dark for years, and now they have really clear guide points. Last year, a drug was approved for neuromuscular disease, again, a first, using a biomarker. In this case, NFL, the other NFL, NFL. And basically, they said that movement in that marker is going to result in the intended clinical benefit, a massive step forward. And so these changes, both the FDA, the NIH, drug developers, it's really a beautiful time to see this field move forward, and they're basically in sprint mode. Lucky enough to be in biotech since day one at Immunex, where we saw the human immune system being harnessed for the first time with the approval of the first disease-modifying drug for rheumatoid arthritis. Also proud to have been a gene therapy pioneer. Kudos to these people. Most recently heading up AskBio's CNS gene therapy portfolio, which we sold to Bayer for $4 billion before this nuclear winter came down. Also treasure the time I spent in the family office, in this case, Paul Allen's family office, where I led his life sciences investment to top decile performance, but also was a founding member of the Allen Brain Institute, the nonprofit institute. With me today is Ray Hauk, our founder. Before founding Aclipse, he founded Thor, monetized that, has brought many products to the market, and great returns to shareholders. Our entire team now is looking to deliver both current and prospective Aclipse investors asymmetric returns. In addition to a management team, a strong team, we have a a stellar group of international, global key opinion leaders. KOLs, by definition, are best in their field. They're clinician scientists who can pick and choose anything they want to work on. The fact that we have collected them behind our assets is testament to our assets, and we're really honored by that. We have deployed the clinical asset arbitrage model made famous by Reovent and Moderna. We're missing a few zeros, but we're heading there. In short, it is, as the gentleman said earlier, stand on the shoulders of giants and identify unforeseen opportunities. And that's what we've done. We found 2 drugs, which we now have global rights to, with really large markets and underserved patient populations. M102 is ready to commence a phase 1 trial in ALS next year. And M107 is on track for a phase 2 IND filing in gastroparesis also next year. Our ALS molecules pathway was validated recently by Biogen's $7 billion acquisition of Reata. And our original reason for getting into the gastroparesis market was the $8 to $11 billion base case. A bluebird event has happened for us. The GLP-1 phenomenon is, as everybody can read, it is just unreal. 1 to 5% of those patients develop gastroparesis as a side effect. And we'll talk about that a lot more later.
One other, how many?
1 to 5%. 1 to 5%. We also have foundational partnerships in place, which you can see great partners. And to this grad particularly, we've been extremely capital efficient. We have a phase 1 asset and a phase 2 asset for accumulated burn of $5 million. The other $5 million from non-dilutive capital grants, but again, extraordinary capital efficiency. Our business model is to raise a single equity round, which will deliver phase 2 data for both products and exit. We'll not take the risk of going to phase 3. We're currently raising a $10 million convertible note, half of which is closed, and we're driving to close the rest. So first product in the portfolio, ALS, also known as motor neuron disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, devastating, progressive, resulting in loss to breathe. There's 1 product approved for familial inherited form, which slows the disease. There's 2 products for sporadic form, which again slow the disease. Our proposition for 102 is a disease-modifying drug treatment for all forms. First example of why we're excited about it, M102 is the only agent shown to reverse ALS disease in the compound muscle action potential, CMAP. It's a well-known measure. It works across species. Look at the arrow on your left. You can see untreated animals suffer a significant loss of neuromuscular health. Look on the right, one of the approved drugs, it slows the loss. Look in the middle, 2 doses of 102, both recover the amount, and the high dose 5 mg is really returning it to nearly to that of a healthy animal. Second set of data, the hallmark of ALS toxicity, TDP35, causes neurotoxicity. Our drug removes these fragments after treatment and increases the healthy 45 version. So again, based on these multiple data sets showing our ability to reverse or stop progression, we'll be moving into the clinic next year with 102. The biology came from Dame Pamela Shaw's lab in the UK, Sheffield University. She has a 300-person lab focused on these problems and is recognized world leader. We have FDA pre-IND meeting, have held that successfully. We've obtained orphan drug designations for 102 and ALS in both the US and Europe, and we will leverage an aggressive biomarker strategy. In addition, we're developing a proprietary gene panel with DoD funding. We have issued a composition of matter, and we have a worldwide exclusive license. We're starting in ALS, but because of the neuroprotection profile of 102, We're looking at Friedreich's ataxia. In fact, we have achieved a orphan drug exclusivity there and have a grant. We're looking at that, but then we're looking to follow on to these other diseases. Again, just writing the single molecule into these larger markets. Now turn to our second molecule that Marty mentioned, gastroparesis. This is again, M107 is a potential disease modifying drug in gastroparesis, which is a chronic disease affecting muscle nerve cells. There's a huge patient population, totally underserved. When we talk to payers and physicians, they see a dire need for a new treatment here. Most of the patients are on all the palliative treatments available and still have debilitating side effects and highly impaired quality of life. Consequently, this practitioner said if we were to prove this drug in the clinic, it could quickly become first-line therapy, again, into the at an $11 billion base market. We predict peak sales of over $1 billion. So again, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, that you've heard that, because M107 is an approved drug. It's approved only in Korea and only for a certain subset of diabetic patients. We now own global rights to the drug with all indications outside of South Korea. The existing approval is a gift. It's priceless because the regulatory authorities can see it. In fact, we showed it to the FDA, who said, move on into the US with a trial. Why is it exciting? Because the role of inflammatory macrophages in gastroparesis has been well documented. It's throughout the literature. It knocks down the pacemaker cells in the stomach, has other terrible effects. The view is that 107 can reverse this situation. And by that, I mean here. On the left, you see the blue are the inflammatory macrophages. Again, you know what systemic inflammation does. It's not good, particularly in this disease, disrupts the stomach. Our drug almost flips the repertoire to the anti-inflammatory. Our people looked at this. This has been in the literature, and this really was the reason we went to CDK to obtain ownership of this. We were looking at the base market, but now we're looking at a bluebird event potentially into the GLP-1 induced. The market here is nuts. I mean, I've been in the business since the 80s, just have never seen anything like this. Wall Street is estimating hundreds of billions of dollars market cap. And again, what we're seeing here from a Aclipse point of view is just a tremendous upside for us. How big? Again, we got in for the base market, 600,000 patients, 1.3 billion peak sales at the 1% rate. At the 1% rate of GLP-1 induced gastroparesis, we could add 2 billion in sales in our model. And that's why we're so excited about it. Here's our emerging corporate pipeline. You can see gastroparesis. Number 2, gastroparesis induced. We believe the drug has renal orphan applications as well. I mentioned ALS, well, we're starting orphan, but we're looking at multiple other indications, TBI, for example, and we're in discussions with the DoD based on our prior relationship with them. So again, our business model is to take them to phase 2 and monetize them through partnerships, a well-traveled road in biotech. And our landscape of potential acquirers, you can see on the left is the GI grouping, on the right is the CNS grouping, there's the dual threats in the middle, and below the weight loss, the drug. So this will be our audience. Now to the money slide, we're raising a $10 million convertible note. We have half of it closed. We're driving to close the other half. Vanilla terms, 5-year maturity, 6% interest, a 20% discount to the next qualified financing, and a valuation cap that meets some of these dire projections that were mentioned this morning. Again, we intend to follow that with a single equity raise. The notes would convert. And the Series B would deliver phase 2 trial results for both programs, would be the last round of financing, and could lead to, again, I kind of skipped over this, but on the right-hand side here are multiple multi-billion-dollar exits possible upon phase 2 data based on pounds. So in summary, we built a powerful portfolio. We have a terrific support. We're raising the 10 million, and we have 2 potential disease-modifying drugs with substantial exit opportunities. We're lean and clean. We continue to be capital efficient. And again, I've been in biotech and venture capital, and I've seen thousands of business plans. I've never seen anybody get this far in 5 million. And so really proud of where we are and proud of where we're going. And want to thank you, and I think we have time for questions.
Said total invested to date was 5 million?
Yes. Well, yes. Yes.
Is this your molecule or is this a licensed molecule?
We own, on the M102, we actually own composition of matter. But again, we have a license from all the data coming out of the UK, but we own it. And in fact, the terms are extraordinary. And the 107, we have global license from CDK. CDK is important too, from an investor point of view, because our supply chain is built in. We don't have to build it. Manufacturing in pharma is just a nightmare. I've been head of manufacturing for 3 companies in the small molecule, the chemical, the biologics. It's always a massive thing. To be able to avoid that, simply order it by the kilo is amazing.
Is there a insurance number for gastroparesis?
Yes, and we have tested numbers with payer panels through primary research, which is available in our data room, testing $3,000 and $4,000 a month pricing for this. And no problem. This is an extremely difficult disease. 1 million hospital days a year, 250,000 ER visits. It costs twice. These patients cost twice what all general hospital admission patients cost. That's how the side effects are. But controlled vomiting. How many times you vomit? Not when you, but how many times a day? So it is a underserved market, and if we can flip the switch, reduce the inflammation, return the health of the gastric pacemaker cells, voila.
Good.
Geographically, where are your clinical trials going to be had? Where are you going to do your clinical trials? And secondly, are you using AI to optimize those clinical trials?
In order, the ALS compound will start in Australia. And the reason you do that is that under a CTN, you can get wonderful work faster, and you get half.
Doing the clinical trials for the phase 2 in Australia.
No, ALS drug will start in Australia and then move to the UK.
Okay.
The gastroparesis trial will be US based, and we're looking at those kind of sites right now.
And are you using AI to optimize the clinical trial?
You know, the CROs tell you they do that. I mean, I'm somewhat of a skeptic on AI. I mean, I have an AI filed patent 4 years ago. We filed a neural network enabled 3D cell visualization at the Allen Institute. Okay, I know what it can do, but I've also seen AI. Been to a conference with Illumina and LabCorp, which were showing this wonderful, beautiful analysis of 1,000 mammograms. And what happened is, because of the embedded AI algorithms, the early ones that the gentleman was talking about, they were meant to look for outliers, to drive eyes. They were meant to create dissonance, if you will, to create a market. So what they did is it saw a beautiful mammogram, and it had the GSK watermark on it, and it threw out all other 970 and just went with that. So I know it helps from an efficiency point of view. I'm a big believer in that. But in terms of truly trusting it in drug screening, we'll see. We'll see.
So your answer is you're relying on the CRO to drive your AI decision.
I'm actually saying we're not really.
You're not doing it at
We're
all.
not using AI. I mean, I can see in a practical way. we're moving into the clinic, and we're dealing with the FDA, and we're dealing with clinicians. They want to see data, they want to see documentation, and so, no. If they can, and again, we get pitched on this all the time by CROs. We can do this, we can have everyone's data, et cetera. And, you know,
CROs aren't the ones.
You know what, so they're gonna be at dinner tonight, and we're gonna carry this conversation on to dinner because they're out of time. So, thank you so much, what a great
Thank you
presentation.
very much.